Yes,
Yes.
you're good.
Perfect.
All right. Welcome, comadres, to this month's Las Comadres Speaker Series. Before we introduce our speaker today, I just want to do some housekeeping notes with everyone. First of all, if everyone can put themselves on mute, and if everyone can, if you select speaker view, it will give you the better picture of the speaker. But if you have gallery view, it's okay. That one's okay too. Okay, we just ask that you keep yourselves on mute. If you have any questions, any comments, please put them in the chat. We will get back to them later on in the show. All right, thank you. Comadre Nora?
Thank you, Comadre Maria. It is so wonderful to be with you here today, comadres. Every chance I get to be with you is a blessing. And today, our speaker is Comadre Rebecca Flores Castro, and she's going to be giving us 10 tips to grow and protect your online presence. I wanted you to know that Rebecca is also known, and I love this moniker, Rebecca with results. Oh man, what flair. I love it. And Rebecca will share how to take control again of your online presence, how to promote ourselves in a positive manner and bury negative content. And so whether you're promoting yourself or your business, knowing how to navigate social media today is more critical every single day. So let's take good notes. I knew Rebecca when she was in Orange County. She was a comadre as a part of the Orange County Comadres, and then she moved to Dallas. So now she's closer to me, but I don't get to see her very often. Since 2000, Rebecca has shared her unique approach to building connections to help individuals and businesses grow. And what she does is she integrates business development, community relations, and virtual resources into client-centric systems. And she has worked on a variety of projects, including business development campaigns, regional and national outreach programs, multi-million-dollar asset acquisitions, corporate connectivity solutions, and community education initiatives. Comadre Rebecca, thank you so much for being with us, and we look forward to learning from you today. Bienvenida.
Gracias, Comadre Nora, and thank you to all you comadres that are here with us today. It is my pleasure, as Comadre Nora knows, community relations and helping the community, bringing resources is a big passion of mine. So when Comadre asked if I could do this, I said, absolutely. You know, I'm not a superstar, you know, blogger or anything like that, but I'm happy to share any knowledge that I have, you know, have acquired over the last 20 years of being in business with all of you. So just a quick 30 seconds of, you know, who I am and where I came from. As she said, I was out of Orange County originally. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 21 years old. That was a way long time ago, over 20 years ago. And at that time, you know, the internet was just a brand new thing. You know, I remember doing the data machines and, you know, sending faxes and doing all this kind of stuff. So the very first business I had was called Mobile Office Assistants. And so I was the first Latina out of Orange County to win the SBA award for that concept. And so today they call that virtual assisting, right? They have a name for it. Back then they didn't. We just said that we provide mobile services, meaning that we would go and pick up the job or, you know, whatever needed to be done, bring it back to our home office spaces and help professionals basically grow their business. And so that's the background. That was the very first business I had. And I've been a serial entrepreneur ever since. And I've had several types of businesses. Right now I run 3 businesses. And so hopefully I can give you guys a little bit of information. Again, this is a big overview. And so if there's anything here that you would like more information about, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll share my information and use me as a resource. I don't charge for this. This is just something that I would love to share with you, comadres. All right. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if one of you can just let me know when you see it come up.
It's there.
Perfect. Okay, so if I go too fast, again, this is just an overview. So Please feel free to take notes on anything specific that you want more information on. And I'm happy to do a personal Zoom with you and show you some of the tricks that I know. So 10 tips to grow and protect, which is really important nowadays, and protect your online presence. That's what we're talking about here today. And so here's my information. You can take a screenshot of that. I'll go ahead and put this up again at the end of our presentation. But this is my direct information if you'd like to reach out to me afterwards. So today's agenda, here's the 10 takeaways that we're going to go ahead and touch on. 1, always be branding. 2, be intentional, create a social media veil, centralize information, utilize free tools, show us the real you, Facebook and Instagram advertising, watch your back. That one's really important. Do a quarterly checkup, and we're going to touch a little bit on identity protection. So the first one, always be branding. And because this is for our comadres, I threw a little Spanish in there and I'm saying, sepárate de los demás, okay? Really stand out. How do you stand out when you want to have an online presence? And so here's a couple of things it's a couple of tips. One is define your avatar. And so if you've never heard that term before, what your avatar is you know how you have sometimes you'll see in Facebook or whatnot, these little caricatures almost. They look like you're basically what you would look like if you were a virtual, right? A virtual cartoon, if you will. And so what they do in creating a branding is they say, create your avatar. In other words, create what an ideal customer would look like. Okay, that's what an avatar is when we talk about branding. So your ideal customer, what are their interests? Let's say, for example, you sell healthcare, or you have some type of healthy eating establishment, restaurant. Well, you know, these are people that maybe they run, right? Or they have fitness as an interest. So those are important things to think about when you're creating your avatar. So demographics is more like age group, income, things of that nature. Start thinking about crossover items, meaning who else can you align yourself with that has a business that would go good with yours. So start, really putting down on paper, what does your ideal customer look like, and who are the other businesses that would complement yours? So that would be number one, the avatar. Second step would be research. And so there's simple searches that you can do online that will help you once you find a brand. So here's a list of some of the things that you would want to do. Research URLs, research other profile names, and the profile names should be with other companies that are going to be similar to you, to what the demographics is that you're looking for. So example, again, with the healthy eating, or the restaurant that has healthy food, maybe they go after runners, right? And so there's, for example, an app called Map My Run. So that would be a profile that you would want to know whether or not somebody has that name that you have. Think of color schemes that are going to be conducive with your avatar, and make that the same across all of your advertising, right? Different logo ideas, things that are actually going to be recognizable without having to do too much name, putting too much wording into it. So like Comadre Nora said, I go by Rebecca with results. And so my email, everything, secure the profiles, like it says here on column 3, your name, email, social media, YouTube, all the apps. So everything that I use personally is under Rebecca with results. And so people that support me or follow me, they don't have to wonder, well, is it this Rebecca or that Rebecca? They actually just type in Rebecca with results and everything comes up. All the same, everything that's tied to me comes up. So one of the things that I'd like to have you guys do is make sure, for instance, GoDaddy, one of the things that I did when I started branding myself is not only brand the company names, but I branded myself specifically. So I went to GoDaddy, I put in my, my Rebecca with results, and I actually bought the URL. I bought basically your website name. And I bought it for the .com and the .net because I wanted to make sure as I invest more in my business and I grow more, that somebody else isn't going to be able to take the name that I've built, right, and use it for their own benefit. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about searching, but I would say definitely don't pay for anything. You should be able to search just, by simply going into Google or Yahoo for those names, any name that you're thinking. And this is kind of a funny but not funny story. When I was looking for Rebecca with results, there was a not flattering website that came up that I did not want to be associated with. And it was under a different name. And so that's what helped me decide to go with Rebecca with results. So keep that in mind. You don't want people Googling, right, the wrong thing. So spell it different ways, maybe put spaces in different ways when you're searching so that you actually have a better picture of what's actually out there with the similar names. Okay, so number 2 is be intentional. ¿Cuáles son sus metas? What are your goals with the whole online, branding or your online presence? Is it for you as an individual? Are you promoting a business? Are you an artist maybe, and you're promoting your art? So you have to be really intentional of why are you having an online presence? And so to start with, pick 2 or 3 sites. There's so much out there. There's Facebook, Instagram. Now they have TikTok. There's LinkedIn. There's, Pinterest. There's so much stuff that's out there. What is the other one? Twitter. So you can get very easily overwhelmed if you try and do too much. So pick 2 or 3 sites, and they should be specific to what your expectation is. What is the reason that you're getting on these sites? Is it because you want to attract business, like you want people to actually visit your brick and mortar store? Or is it because you want to sell products online? So you really have to define what it is that you want and then see where that demographic, where your avatar is going to be the most, right? So for example, if your business caters to other businesses, maybe you want to be in LinkedIn versus Facebook, right? But maybe you're a restaurant and a lot of your people, found you on Facebook, for example. Maybe that's somewhere you really want to go. So put a lot of time into picking those sites, and then start with 2 or 3. Once you get good at those 2 or 3 sites, then you can, move on. The other thing when you do postings is you want to make sure that you're not, if you're using your personal page, this is a mistake that I see a lot, is people will take their personal page and post a bunch of stuff on their business. And then they wonder why people aren't liking their stuff. So if you're going to be using your personal page, you should be really doing the 80-20 rule. 80% of it should be personal, fun stuff, and only 20% of it business. Okay. Diversify your posts. It shouldn't be about the same thing all the time. Going back to the health food store, the healthy restaurant, if they're always posting about just the food that they make and the restaurant, they don't have any, fun stuff, you're going to lose a lot of your audience. So make sure you diversify the posts and not only make it one thing. Okay. The other trick is, support others. Don't make it all about yourself, right? People like to see people who are supporting others. And, it's just a good way to get that energy going, right? When you support somebody else, they support you, and the whole energy is able to flow better. And the last thing is, have fun. Don't make it all, again, about business, but really have fun with it and share some fun things that have happened to you. This is a trick that I like to use. I actually create a calendar. I'm not super great at it. Like I told you guys, I'm not an expert blogger by any means. However, one of the things that was taught to me and I really like to use is if you take a calendar, sometimes it'll say, like the other time we posted about Taco Tuesday, or it was National Taco Day, or sometimes they have, Daughter Day or, whatnot. ice cream day, and so those are I call them the hashtag of the day. And so you'll see everybody posting on whatever the hashtag is. So that's a way to fill your calendar. The other one, it would be weekly spotlights. So I used to do something on Wednesday called Wow Me Wednesday. And that was just things that wowed me during the week, whether that be a business or, inspiring story or whatever. I've seen people that do Teach Me Thursday. And so they teach something on Thursday to their audience. So doing those weekly spotlights builds an expectation of your audience. They know, okay, every Tuesday, Nora's going to be on and she's going to be, teaching us something about being a writer or, something like that. So building that expectation early is a great way to grow your audience. So number 3 would be creating a social media veil, right? Is it a business? ¿Es negocio o tiempo para jugar, right? So are we really focusing on a business or are we focusing on our personal presence? And so I don't know if you've ever heard of when they talk about the corporate veil, right? When you have a business, they talk about the corporate veil. That's protecting your financial assets versus your personal assets. So it's the same concept when we're talking about social media presence. When you have your personal page, how open, do you want to make that for everybody to see versus having a business page when it's all about your business? Okay. And so these are a couple of the ways that you can use your business page specifically versus a personal page. And so with your virtual presence, using Facebook basically as a website. We all know, especially when you have a startup business, that funds, obviously you want to be conservative with your funds. And so a lot of businesses actually use Facebook as a website. Because if you go in and you search on Google or Yahoo or whatever, you search somebody, usually if they have a Facebook page or an Instagram page, those are the first couple of things that are going to pop up when they're searching about you. And so using the Facebook page in that manner makes it really affordable, but also it gives you that credibility, right? And then the other thing too about having a business page is that you're able to link it with other apps that are compatible. As far as resources, you can actually track how, and we'll go in here in a little bit and I'll show you my Facebook and how to actually use some of these tools. But with the business pages, you can actually track your progress. It'll show you how many likes you have, how many people have seen your advertising. You're able to boost it, meaning pay for advertising of some of your posts. And the other thing too is they're app compatible. So for instance, I'll show you how if you do an event on Eventbrite, it's really super easy to share it through Facebook, just with maybe 2 or 3 clicks, and it basically transfers over all of the information. And so it makes it a lot easier for you to get interest, for example, in your events. The other thing is, being relatable. When you're sharing personal information on your business page, it's a fine line. You want to definitely be relatable, but on the other hand, you want to keep that social media veil, right? And so just be in tune with what is your audience like, right? The other one that you're able to do with a business page versus a personal page is that you're able to be the expert in whatever that field is. You can always repost or share from a personal page, from a business page to your personal page. You can't always share from your personal page to your business page. And it all has to do with the shareability, which I will also show you in just a little bit when we go into my Facebook back office. All right, so the next one is having a central place for information. We've been talking a lot about social media in the last couple of slides, but one of the things that I want to encourage you guys is haz la vida más fácil, right? Be as intentional as you can about your business and about the services that you use for your business. So one of the two that I refer to a lot is Google versus Microsoft Office. And so one of the things on Google, I'm just going to go ahead and go into the Google Office services. And so the Google Office, if you don't already know, Google has several, let's see, Google for Business. So they call them the Google for Business Suite or the G Suites. And basically what it is they have multiple apps and tools that you can use as a business owner. And so this, it kind of gives you an idea of some of them. So this one is, everybody knows you have your email. The other one is calendar. The one here that kind of looks like a little triangle is Google Docs. And it pretty much reminds me of like Dropbox. It works a lot like Dropbox. But here's one specifically that a lot of people don't know that they have access to. And I just taught somebody this the other day, so I want to show you ladies. It's called Google Voice. And so it's a little icon. Here it is, this one here. And it's so this little icon where you can actually set up a phone number with your Google. So going back to the branding, right? So on branding, I use Rebecca with results, right? And so this is, if I click here, you'll see my email. I have another line for my real estate company, that's Texas Homeowners Helpline. So you can see here, you can add other accounts, right? The one thing I will caution you with here is you do whatever phone number that's tied to it, you can only use once. So for example, my cell phone number goes to this dedicated line under Rebecca with results. And so when I do certain kind of advertising, I use specifically this number. What's nice about it is you can actually call from this number. That's why you see this little keypad here. You can send messages like text messages through the number, right? And you can actually sync it to have all of your contacts as well. Okay. So you see how my contacts have came up here. So this is something that I have used in the past, and I really enjoy using it because it keeps my business specific to my business, right? So Google Voice, and again, just the Google Suite in general. I'll go ahead and show you really quickly so you can have an idea of the Google Drive. And so Google Drive, you can actually, again, it acts more like as a Dropbox, and I want to say it's like $1.99 a month for you to have a bigger storage. But you can see here all of these files that I have, and so a lot of times, let's see here, for example, one of the files, I have multiple files under it, right? These are pictures. So you use it just like a filing system. So depending on who your customer is, a lot of times they, maybe they don't have Dropbox because of the cost or whatnot, or they're just not computer savvy. This is a great way for you to be able to share information and transfer information and keep everything all in one place. And so it's called Google Business. Again, there's Microsoft Office. I'm not a big Microsoft Office person, but I know a lot of people are, and they have a lot of the similar features using Microsoft Office. So again, just having a central hub where you can go to get maybe your marketing material or your business forms or whatnot. These are great tools to use for that. So number 5, again, with the free tools. Take it to the next level. Take your business to the next level using free tools. One of the tools that I'm using actually right now is called Canva. And let me see if I can bring, so if you look here at the bottom of my screen, you see this app. I'm going to bring it to the middle here. It's called Canva, Canva. It's a free app. So for example, I created this PowerPoint using that app. You can use it to brand things. You can use it to create videos, and also social media content. And so what I like about it is that you can specifically tell it, are you going to be advertising on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn? And it'll actually size it to the size that you need. And so again, that one's called Canva. And when you put things out, you should be branding everything. Again, going back to the branding, it's the most important part of doing any type of social media. Another one that I like to use for design is called Adobe Spark. And that one is also a free download. So you just have to be careful because there are places in that it'll tell you that you have to have a membership for it. And so I'm going to just go ahead and show you here some of the ones that I've personally done, and some of the ones that you can do yourself. So this is an example of Canva and some of the files that I've done in the past that you can, let me see here. So you see how it gives you the integrations with all of these things where you can do, set up your Instagram and your YouTube and your Flickr and all this stuff. So it's really nice that it integrates all of that kind of thing. The other thing too that it does, oops. So my designs. So I'm going to show you guys really quickly. So for example, like I said, I'm a realtor, right? So one of the things that I do is I'll put my logo, whenever I do a social media post. So here's my logo. So once you upload it, when it's already uploaded, you can then include it on anything. So you just upload your logo once, and then you're able to add it to all of your social media stuff. So one of the things that I wanted to show you guys with this is it's really easy to use. See, you can do social media, video, marketing, all this kind of thing. And so if I have a template, and maybe again, let's go back to the health food store. And let's just type in health and see what happens. Look at all of these already made promotional things that you can use and just change it to your, to your business. So for example, the healthy living. Maybe I want to go ahead and use this. And I say, great, this is something that I can use. This one here already has this Canva. It's already basically branded to Canva. So you'd have to probably use your own picture, right? Some of the times, whenever it has this little, let's see here, whenever it has these little, like a little crown, that's what I want to say. Whenever it has a crown, that means you have to pay for it, right? So just know that if you upgrade with this stuff that's with this little crown, it does ask you to pay for it. So you just pick stuff that's not with that, right? So it'll resize it for you. Like this one, you can do all that kind of good stuff with it. Okay. So again, if you guys want an actual training on that, I'm happy to do that another time. So let's go back to our slides here. All righty. And we were, let's see here. I think we were here on page, we're on 5, right?
We were on number 6.
6, okay, perfect, thank you. All right, okay, here we go. And 6. Here we are. So number 6, show us the real you. This one is really important because I feel like a lot of times, and I went through this myself. I went through a phase where I didn't want to take pictures unless my makeup was perfect, or I didn't want to do videos until I had like everything completely scripted and I knew exactly what I was going to say. And I felt like people were judging me, and so I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And so what I started doing is a friend of mine just said, hey, Rebecca, is there somebody that you really admire that puts posts on social media? And I said, well, yeah, of course, there's a couple of people. And they said, go in there and really take a look and start looking and start picking apart their pictures or their video. And you'll see that they're just people like you and I, they mess up. They'll go back and backtrack and, or say, oh, I meant to say this or whatnot. And so people actually like people that are real, just like them, right? So I encourage you guys not to stop yourself from posting things or sharing things because of that. Show us the real you. Everything doesn't have to be picture perfect. I think that that's a misconception because we watch these, huge bloggers and it looks like they have all this stuff perfectly together. But they have to put a lot of effort into doing all that. The regular folks like just you and I, regular business owners, that they don't have that, they don't have that entourage of people, right, that's helping them with this. And so they just show the real them. And I'll show you in just a couple minutes here, I'm going to go into my Facebook and I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I've posted recently. And you'll see I mess up, people have told me, hey, you need a change, you have a spelling error, a typo, or, whatever. So I just want to encourage you guys, don't worry so much about that stuff. And just show us the real you, just be you. And if you're just yourself, people will like you because you're relatable and you're genuine. So number 7 is Facebook and Instagram advertising. So here's my stopping point that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my Facebook and show you some of the things that I was telling you about earlier. I'm going to show you some some Facebook advertising that you can actually click to include it in your Instagram. And let me see, I think there's one more here that I want to, I'll go back. Watch your back. So these 6, 7, and 8, I'm going to go ahead and go into my Instagram so I can show you guys these things. Watch your back basically means make sure that you have your settings, your preferences on your social media to protect yourself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into my Facebook and show you guys a couple of things. So I manage obviously a couple of pages. And one of the things that I first do when I'm in my, when I do a quarterly checkup, that's one of the other tips that we'll go through, but take a privacy checkup. Okay, before you do anything else, you should be going here for a privacy checkup. Who can see what? This is really important when you're doing your personal page versus your business page, right? Some people really are, private. And that's why having a business page is so much more important, because then you're able to share a little bit more content without feeling like you're, exposing your whole life right to the world. So if you take this checkup, you'll see that you can actually there's drop downs, right? So like this first one, my email, who do I want to see it? And so you'll just go, one by one. And so I only want myself to see it, right? If this is a business page, or if you're specifically creating a profile for your business, then you switch it and you say, okay, well, the public can see it. I'm good with the public seeing my email, right? So there's your birthday. I personally only like my friends to see my birthday. I don't want the whole public to see my birthday. My hometown. So you see some of these I have check marked as only I can see them. Some of them my friends can see them, and others the public can see them, right? So go through all of those. And again, I went to, just so that I went to settings, and then I went to the checkup. Okay, that's where you find this. Here are some other things that are on there, who your default audience is, how long your story's on there, so I won't go for the purposes of time, I won't go to each one, but know that you can have the ability to track all of this and make the preferences to what your comfort level is. Okay. This is, a good one too, a block list. I do block people on a regular basis, and I'll show you why and how I do that. And it's mostly people that I feel like are not being genuine. That's not their real profile. I feel like they're, people from out of the country that, is just trying to hack information or steal pictures and things like that. So I'll block those people. Okay, and so I'll show you how to do that next. So let's go ahead and go back here. So you can keep your account secure, how people find you on Facebook. We have ad preferences. And so again, for purposes of time, I won't click through all of these, but it's really important, if you have not done your privacy checkup on Facebook specifically, that you go ahead and go in there and do your privacy checkup. The other thing too, as far as security, is, change your password regularly, right? There's a ways to go ahead and make your account more secure, like this, two-factor identification or authentication. Basically means that it would have to either notify you also by email or by telephone when you're trying to make any changes to your account. Okay. Ad preferences, how to access your information, your activity log. So all of these items, I would personally go, if you've never done it, go through them one by one. Okay, so that's as far as the privacy, the watch your back part. The other thing that I personally do is, so in the friends, so you see, I have all of these people that have asked me to be friends. Okay, and so I only go in here, every, maybe a couple weeks to add friends, because for me, it is a little more time consuming. At some point, I had somebody who was helping me with my social media, but they were just confirming everybody, just confirm. And the danger with that is that you add people that may not be real people, so, or may not be conducive to what your intention is on social media. And so, for example, this person friended me, and I'm just doing a quick little search, and you see how I can't go up anymore. The last time they posted was on April 20th. You see that here? It says that they posted on April 20th. Well, that's a long time ago. It says that I have 22 mutual friends, but I don't personally recognize any of these people that it says that I have a mutual interest with. Because of these two reasons, I'm going to actually respond to this person and delete their request. I'm not going to friend that person because I feel like they are not conducive with my intention of being online, which is to educate people and to connect people. I don't think that he fits that criteria. So I went ahead and got rid of him, right? So then let's take a look at this person really quick. So it looks like we have 93 mutual friends. He posted in July 29th. And it looks like he really doesn't have a lot on his page. And so again, I don't feel comfortable that he's going to be somebody that is conducive with the whole reason why I'm on social media. So I'm going to go ahead and delete his request. This person, Claudia, it looks like we have more friends in common. I actually recognize at least 3 of the people that are on her mutual friends. Looks like she posted on October 4th, and she's posted a couple of times this month. And looks like she's, posted a couple of things that is, okay. It's not, it's nothing that's offensive to me, right? And so on this person, I would actually go ahead and confirm her. And I would say, okay, she's looks like she might be somebody that I can connect with, right? And so I won't go through all of them, but you guys can see how easy it is to really just look through quickly and be able to tell whether or not somebody is, connecting with you for the right intentions. Okay, so that's another kind of trick that I use. Another thing would be as far as your groups. So when you join groups, you'll see my groups over here on this side. When you join groups, a lot of times people will tag you, or they'll try and spam your Facebook. Okay, so the advice that I would give you as far as protecting your identity would be, when you're joining groups, to really make sure that they're groups that are going to be conducive with what you're intention is on social media. Okay. And the other thing is when you do postings, you want to share them to groups that are also conducive with your intentions. Okay. So that's a little bit about groups, using groups on social media. Then now I'm going to go into utilizing your page to promote your business. So one of the organizations that I founded is called iConnect Texas. And so this is a back office page. And so you can see here, up here at the top, where it says when you hit more, you have all of these different functions, all of these resources for when you have a business page. So it has to be, and when I say business, I don't mean that you have to actually be selling stuff. I mean that it's not a personal page. Okay. So it could be for a nonprofit. It could be for your business. It could be for a community initiative. You know, anything that's not a personal page would be considered a business page. So these are all the resources that you can actually use as a business page. So it gives you insights, right? And so it'll tell you how many people, it'll give you reach. So like, for example, this particular video that we put out, 124 people actually watched it. 99 people watched for more than 3 seconds. And we actually had 50 people who were engaged in the video. That means that they either shared it, they clicked on a link, or they liked it, you know, so there was some type of engagement. So this is an example of how you can really strategically utilize social media to gauge what your audience likes and what they don't like. So that way over time, you can adjust what content you put out there. So that's an example of your insights, or another word for it would be your algorithms. Okay. We have, you know, you can post events. When you have a business page, you can actually promote and post events, and you can do advertising. And so some of the advertising that we've done, let me go ahead and go to ad manager here. And so this is another tool that I use. Oops, I don't have it downloaded here. Sorry, guys. We won't go through that one, but ad manager, usually you can actually, again, it gives you the statistics of how good your advertisements are doing. Okay. And so again, there's a ton of different things that you can use this for. You know, just a quick example, if I wanted to promote a specific event or promotion that I'm doing, I can do it here. And the other thing that I personally have done in the past is I promoted my page. And so I like to show this to people because they don't realize that you can actually edit it so that you are going to that specific audience. So remember in the beginning when I said, create your avatar, create who is that perfect customer for you, you know, and when I say customer, again, if you have a nonprofit or you have, you know, some type of initiative, those are still your customer. They're still people that you're servicing, right? So what you can do is you can actually edit your audience. And so you can edit your audience, and I'll just go ahead and go in here quickly and show you. So let's see here. So if I wanted to be, you know, in Fort Worth, if I wanted a specific audience, so I'm going to put in my office address. Okay. And then I want to hit people within a certain amount of radius. You know, if I want people that are just really super close to my office, or if I want to go, you know, super big and get everybody all over the Metroplex, I can do that. The other thing here is I can move it, right? So I said, okay, well, that's my office address, but I really want to hit people in East DFW, right? East Metroplex. Or if I want to be in the middle, or no, you know what? I want to be outside of the Metroplex. I want this area. So you can actually move it around and justify or give, you know, the radius based on address. The other thing you can do is instead of address, you can actually go by region. And so region is if you want to put in Fort Worth, or, you know, put in specific locations, you can do that by region. Okay, that's the difference. Characteristics. This is a really fun one because creating that avatar, right? So for example, and these are just some that actually were automatically generated. And it always surprises me what it comes up with, because, you know, there's algorithms within Facebook. And so this is basically telling me that there was already, so that a lot of my followers like Nordstrom's. That's why you see that Nordstrom's one there, you know, Wayfair. So these are people, you know, that probably like shopping online, et cetera, et cetera. So if you, again, going back to the health food, you know, one, you can browse interests. Okay. And so if I want to have somebody who's interested in fitness, right? Maybe they're interested in physical fitness and running and weight loss and yoga and et cetera, right? So you go through and you check mark all those boxes, and then it'll automatically put them in there. So you can do this for business, entertainment, you know, all of these actual demographics that are listed here. So you can get really, really specific on the people that you want to see your advertising, or you can just have a big blanket of people depending on what it is that you're selling or what it is that you're doing. Okay, so those are some of the interests, the characteristics. You can do it by age group, gender.
Rebecca, you've got 8 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I'm almost done here. So, and then you save the audience. All right, so let me go ahead and go back. And thank you for letting me know that. So let me go back to here. So watch your back. So watch your back would be what I showed you guys as far as your preferences in each one of those social media platforms. Number 9 is do a quarterly checkup on all of your systems. So one of the things that I do is I'll actually go in to Google and I will check my name. And I don't know if anybody else, you know, if you've ever done this before, but if you Google your name or you go Google your, you know, business, it's what everybody else sees about you, right? And so I like to go in there and see, you know, has anybody else opened something in my name? You know, am I easy to find? Is there another Rebecca Flores Castro that now, you know, it comes up in my information, right? Are there other videos that are not related to me that come up? So those are the types of things that you want to do in your quarterly checkup. You want to make sure that you're Googling yourself. I even go into my Facebook and I will Google my name to see if anybody else tried to tag me in something. And so if you do that, let's see here. I did it too fast. Because a lot of times people have been hacked, right? And so, and they'll reuse your name and maybe put other people's pictures or whatnot. So this is a good way if you go into your social media and you just Google yourself to kind of do a quick check of, you know, what else has been put out there. And so I look and I kind of see, you know, is there other things that I should maybe take off or report, you know, on the other because a lot of times people will tag you and, you know, you didn't even realize it. And it's because you had not gone into your preferences and marked that you want to approve anybody that tags you. So that's another way that I personally do a quarterly checkup. I'll go into all of my social media and do a search. I go into the search platforms like Google, Yahoo, etc., and search myself and my business. And then the last one is identity protection. And so there's a couple of different companies, and I want to let y'all know that I actually, one of the businesses that I have is Essential Services. And so we do identity protection. So we have a monthly, a quarterly, and a yearly plan for that. If that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to me. But so the company that I use is called ID Seal. There's other companies like LifeLock. I think Experian and Equifax, I think some of the credit bureaus actually have identity protection. But they're saying that it's basically the next insurance that everybody's going to have. Like within the next 5 years, a majority of people will have to have identity protection just because of the sophistication that hackers now have in breaching data. So If you don't already have an identity protection service for yourself and for your business, I highly recommend it, because there's only so much that you can do yourself before you actually have to have a professional help you. And sometimes you actually have to get, legal advice and attorneys involved in these things. So I know I talked fast, but it was a lot of information that I had to pack into an hour. So I'm going to take the last 4 minutes and see if anybody has any questions.
I do. I'm
Okay.
Mirta Rinaldi. Hi, I'm in New
Hello.
York. Good to meet you. If you use Instagram instead of Facebook as your main information place, do you have to have all these kind of protections as well? Is it a different? Is very different than Facebook?
So Instagram and Facebook are actually, they ran by the same company. Okay.
Oh.
So that's why when you do Facebook advertising, a lot of times it'll ask you, do you want to also advertise on Instagram? Okay. So they're a linked or a sister company. So it's really going to, to decide between Facebook and Instagram, you're going to first have to ask yourself, who does my audience use more? Do they use more Facebook or do they use more Instagram? Right. So right now, would you say that your audience uses more Instagram or Facebook?
I would say Instagram.
Okay.
I cook.
Oh, I
I
see.
I put a lot of pictures of food and follow chefs and
Yes.
yeah.
Got it. So another one that I would actually recommend to you would be Pinterest. Have you opened a Pinterest page?
No, not yet.
Yes. So Pinterest would actually be another good one for you, because a lot of people search there for recipes and for pictures. And so if you're posting a lot of pictures of your food or recipes or videos, that would be another great social media platform for you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Oh. And,
Any other questions?
I would love to sit and talk to you at length. I have a lot of not only questions, but things that I've been doing that I was wondering. This was very good though. Very, very good.
Yes. And I'll share my information in the chat. And so you all can, write it down. But I'm happy to put on, again, I couldn't even, I probably had 20 things and I had to start crossing things out because I just wanted to give you guys so much. And I thought to myself, okay, I have to really condense this and just hit the highlights. But one of the things that I would say that's super important, if you're going to take away anything from this, it's two things. One is branding. Really sit down and put your avatar together. And when you have your brand, when you have the name that feels good to you, right? That you say, yes, that's my identity. That's who I want people to know me as, right? Mine's Rebecca with Results. When I got that name, I put any app that I could ever think of under the sun and I branded that. I captured that name. So you're not only, your Google, but go into like YouTube and get that name, right? Go into any of the apps, and even if you're not using it right now, just think on a higher level. Say, okay, in 5 years, I want to be to the point where I can, have a YouTube page or a YouTube channel or, et cetera, et cetera. So think on a higher level, plan for that 10-year time frame. And so, and get those things now. That would be my biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
Rebecca, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just finished flyers and I had them professionally done. And I do marketing, public relations, fundraising, but also governance. And I was told by some people to put my picture on them and others don't put your picture.
Sure. It's really going to be, again, depending on who's your avatar. How do you want them to see you? How do you want them to recognize who you are? Right. And so one of the things that you'll see across all of my social media is I have the same picture on all of it. Like, to me, I don't understand why business owners will use one picture for Facebook, one picture for Instagram, one picture for their flyers. It's like, no, you want people to be able to glance and within half of a second recognize, oh, that's her. I know her. I've seen her, right? So pictures are worth 1,000 words, right?
Well, I use my logo everywhere.
Yes. Yes. If you're not comfortable using, so as a realtor, one of the things I stopped doing is stop putting my picture on my yard signs. And the reason is because I actually had somebody try and attack me at a open house, and he followed, because I had all my open house signs and I had my picture on them, and he followed my signs because my picture was on them. So it really has to come, yes, it absolutely comes down to what are you most comfortable with. But I would say if you want to go with the logo instead, have the logo, but stick with that. Don't flip flop. Don't go back and forth.
No.
Rebecca, what about Hootsuite, where I can put one thing and then that will put it in Twitter and Facebook and blah, 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 blah. Are those systems good?
Yes, those systems are good. They are very good. And you can absolutely do that. I know that they cost money. So depending on where you are in your business, if you're a startup or if you have a little bit of money to play with. But yes, those are definitely good tools to use. And then if you really don't have the funding to do that, literally what I do is I copy and paste and I put it across all my platforms, and it takes me maybe less than 5 minutes once I create the content, right? And then I just copy and paste through all the rest of the platforms.
So you don't recommend different content for different audiences, so to say? I mean, I've heard various opinions on what you just stated, to where you should, be cognizant and give people a reason to follow you in different sections. And if they're getting the same content, then they won't.
Sure. So again, it depends on, number one is who your avatar is, right? And the other thing too is how much time you want to commit to this. I run 4 businesses. I have this much time to do my social media, right? And so it's going to come down to that. If social media is your primary source for business, then I would say absolutely tailor to your audience. However, somebody like myself who has multiple businesses, I just want a presence. I just want for when somebody Googles me, if they're an Instagram user, they're going to go on Instagram. They're not going to go look for me on Instagram and then go look for me on Facebook, right? Majority of the time, they're going to stick to what they like. And if they're an Instagram user, they're going to like my stuff on Instagram. For the most part, that's where they're going to like my stuff. They may see it in Facebook, but usually they're one or the other, LinkedIn is one where if it's a personal post, I'm not going to necessarily post it on LinkedIn because that's supposed to be for business content, right? So that's the only time that I kind of have, to make an exception of sharing across all the platforms is whether or not it's a business related thing or if it's a personal related thing. Any other questions?
It's wonderful. Thank you for being with us here tonight, and thank you for all the information. It was a lot. Very informative. Yes.
Yes.
And we have your email. We have your phone number. So if the comadres would like to reach out to you directly, that would be wonderful. Everyone, please help me in thanking Rebecca for a wonderful night.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Maria.
All right.
Absolutely wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank
So
you,
much.
comadres.
So much.
Mhm.
Yes,
Oh,
I
Rebecca,
have 5
can I
pages
ask-
worth of notes.
Yes. Next time we'll bite size it and be,
Okay,
maybe we can
Rebecca?
do a couple. Yeah, spin
Can you
off from
leave us-
this a couple more.
Can you leave us with one more? you were doing all these things in Facebook, and I'm on Facebook constantly. I didn't know how to access them. So where do people go to find out their privacy or whatever? Where do they
Sure.
start?
Sure. So you'll go into your settings.
Okay.
Okay. So under settings, under preferences, let me go back to sharing again my screen. Yeah, because that's a big one. And by the way, if you just kind of play with all the social media, all the apps that you have, they all have this feature. Well, you'll go in there. And so where I went is I went here to the drop down menu. Okay. And then I went to settings. And
Great.
you see where it says, there's a couple of different ways. There's privacy checkup, and that usually comes up regularly. So privacy checkups where you want to go if you've never done it before, because it'll actually take you step by step on how to do a checkup. One of the things I personally do is, let me show you this one for those of you still on here. This is really important to me because I really do not like it when people spam my Facebook page, meaning that they'll tag me on their advertisement for their business.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that's intrusive of my space and my followers. So one of the things that I personally do is that, you know, I have to review. We see where it says review tags. People add you onto your posts before the tags appear on Facebook. That for me is on, because I don't want people to tag me and utilize my platform for their benefit.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you very much, comadres. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you. Good
Yeah, my
night.